The Duggar family's darkest secret. Anna Duggar breaks her silence on Josh's crime. For years, the Duggar family has lived under the harsh glare of public attention, presenting an image of faith, order, and unity while carefully curating what the world was allowed to see. At the center of their story was always a promise of family values, devotion to God, and unwavering loyalty to one another. But behind that polished image lay darker truths that eventually spilled into the open when Josh Duggar's crimes were exposed to the world. His arrest and eventual conviction left a permanent scar on the family's legacy, shattering the carefully built illusion of moral superiority that Jim, Bob, and Michelle had maintained for decades. And now, in a move no one thought they would see, Anna Duggar, Josh's long-suffering wife, has begun to break her silence, finally acknowledging the deep pain, betrayal, and confusion that his actions left in their wake. Hannah had always been presented as the devoted wife, the loyal partner who would stand by Josh no matter what. From the earliest days of their marriage, she was placed in the role of the perfect helpmate. A young woman raised in a family with values not unlike the Duggars, taught to obey her husband, raise her children, and remain faithful through every trial. When Josh's scandals first began to surface, including confessions of infidelity and addiction, the public looked to Anna with pity, many questioning how she could stay, how she could continue to defend a man who had humiliated her so publicly. And yet, she did. She remained steadfast, often citing her belief in forgiveness, redemption, and her role as a wife bound by covenant. But when the revelations of Josh's far more serious crimes came to light, crimes that not only destroyed the family's reputation, but horrified the nation, her silence grew heavier, her loyalty less understood. In the aftermath of his conviction, Anna withdrew from public view, rarely speaking, rarely posting, and avoiding interviews that might force her to confront the reality of what her husband had done. For many, her absence was a sign of continued submission, a refusal to break from the narrative that she had to remain loyal. But insiders suggested that beneath the quiet exterior, turmoil was brewing. Anna was not only heartbroken but conflicted, torn between her upbringing, her vows, her children, and the undeniable truth that the man she had married had committed acts she could no longer excuse. Now, as time has passed and whispers of change have grown louder, Anna has finally begun to open up. Her words are measured, cautious, and heavy with the weight of years spent in silence. But they mark a turning point not only for her, but for the Duggar family as a whole. By breaking her silence, she is forcing a reckoning that Jim, Bob, and Michelle have long avoided, dragging their darkest secret back into the light and refusing to let it be swept under the rug of forgiveness and spin. Anna's statements reveal a woman who is exhausted by the charade, wearied of being expected to carry the burden of her husband's sins. She speaks of sleepless nights, of looking into her children's eyes and wondering what kind of future they will have without their father, and what kind of future they might have with the knowledge of what he has done. She confesses to moments of anger, times when the betrayal felt too deep to bear, when she wanted to run, to take her children and disappear from the shadow of the Duggar name forever. But she also reveals the incredible pressure placed on her, the voices of family members urging her to remain loyal, to stand by Josh as an act of faith, to remember her vows even when her heart was breaking. What strikes observers most about Anna's newfound openness is how it contradicts the image that Jim Bob has long tried to maintain. For years, he has worked tirelessly to control the narrative, to insist that forgiveness and loyalty define the family's response to sin. But Anna's words show that forgiveness is not so simple, that wounds cut deeper than Scripture can mend, and that loyalty sometimes feels like imprisonment. She is no longer willing to play the role of the silent wife. Instead, she is stepping forward as a woman who has been wronged, who has suffered in silence, and who has finally decided to let the world know the truth of what it feels like to live in the aftermath of Josh's crimes. Her openness has not only shocked fans, but has sent shockwaves through the Duggar family itself. Some siblings, already distanced from Jim Bob's control, have expressed quiet support for Anna, encouraging her to speak and reminding her that she is not alone. Others remain bound by loyalty to their father's vision, worried of how Anna's words could further damage the family's already tarnished reputation. The divide is clear, and Anna's decision to speak may be the wedge that splits the Duggar clan even further apart. Public reaction to Anna's words has been intense. Many have expressed sympathy, seeing in her a woman finally finding her voice after years of silence. They commend her bravery, recognizing how difficult it must have been to break from the expectations placed upon her. Others are more skeptical, questioning why it took so long, why she remained silent during the trial, why she defended Josh for as long as she did. But regardless of opinion, one thing is undeniable. Her breaking of silence has reignited the conversation about Josh's crimes, forcing the public to remember and re-examine what happened. Anna's honesty has also sparked a broader discussion about the role of women in conservative religious households like the Duggars. Her story has become a case study in what happens when obedience is prized above independence, when loyalty is demanded even in the face of betrayal, and when silence is considered more virtuous than truth. By choosing to speak, Anna has not only freed herself in some measure, but has become a symbol for others who have suffered in silence. She is proof that even within systems designed to suppress women's voices, those voices can still rise, can still break the silence, and can still tell the world what it needs to hear. As Anna continues to share more, there are questions about what this will mean for her future. Will she finally leave Josh behind, choosing freedom over loyalty? Will she remain connected to the Duggar family, or will her words force a permanent rift? Will she continue to speak, perhaps even writing or giving interviews that lay bare the truth of her experience? Whatever happens, her silence is broken, and nothing can erase the impact of that choice. For the Duggar family, Anna's voice is a nightmare they cannot control. It is the embodiment of their darkest secret, spoken not by an outsider or a critic, but by one of their own, a woman once complicit in their silence, now refusing to keep quiet. For the public, it is a reminder that behind the stage smiles and pious words lies a family torn apart by sin, crime, and cover-up. And for Anna herself, it is the beginning of a new chapter, one defined not by what Josh did, but by what she chose to say. The Duggar family's darkest secret has been exposed for years, but only now, with Anna's voice joining the chorus, does it feel like the silence has truly been shattered. Her pain, her honesty, her refusal to remain silent may well become the legacy she leaves her children. Not the shame of what their father did, but the courage of what their mother chose to do.